What?
Did you see that?
No.
I did not. And passed in the closing stages. Will we see it again? I don't think so this week.
Oh, that was tight
Round
round
the
there.
outside.
Well, it was potentially saving his tyres.
Crutchlow right through penalty. Cal Crutchlow's got a ride through. Just come up on the monitor. I saw a big fat digit come across here. It was
The punishment doesn't fit the crime.
that ride through penalty. Does that mean a ride through the penalty lane though?
No, I think it would have said
In the penalty lane. Not a big enough penalty in their case. Here comes Rossi. That's a good move on Morbidelli. And Cal Crutchlow would like to take advantage of that as well if he can.
there is the chance of that.
Marquez out front. It's been a long while. I can't remember the last time we had a black flag for someone not taking the penalty. They should have to take that penalty down pit lane. Petrucci has had a dire weekend so far. Danilo Petrucci looking very, very miserable indeed. Vinales has slipped down looking to make that full factory 2019 bike work for him, but it's the old boy himself who squeezes up the inside of Uncle Jack and goes through. Who's that right? Down pit lane to serve, and it's a long pit lane here as well, isn't it?
Exactly.
Slow in and a long pit lane to follow. Here's Mark said that he expected most to go with the soft. That was this morning when it was cooler, but since then it's really warmed up here, so a lot of people have gone for the mediums. Now then, Valentino Rossi far forward into turn 5, lost a lot of time. Could have been a lot worse though, couldn't it?
Just worked out the penalty. So for doing a ride through, Keith,
I want to see what and why that decision was made.
but to back it up, they will, like you said, Keith,
Somebody from BT Sport will be asking to see something like that as well, just to get a verification of it. Here we go, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Jack Miller on the outside.
in motorcycles. There we go. I thought it was going to. Is it?
Squeeze it in there.
And that's the difference with motorcycles. The Yamaha turns, the Ducati doesn't.
Getting away at the front. That gap is up to 6.17 seconds at the finish line. There he is. He's finished his stuff on
The Maverick Vinales feels like sat behind him. Maverick Vinales on a full factory Yamaha. You sat behind Frankie Morbidelli, who's any some arguments sort of mid-season personality clashes, and there were some not so nice words said in the press through that period of time.
He got the 46 is on the medium compound rear. A few switched at the last minute to the medium rear compound. They being giant
Things that when he's been riding, he's been 0.3, 0.4 per second faster. The best session for me was free practice 1. When this track,
Alberto quick.
And at that time, most riders were doing 1 minute 45s.
Well, it was covered in just about everything. It was more like
Well, it was dirt track.
well, it was a track to a farm.
Well, that's last
The
year's
older
Honda. Yeah.
And the slightly faster Suzuki that apparently goes quicker in a straight line and stops well.
And turns well.
Obviously turns well too. And you've got that little bit extra momentum. It's difficult to get out of it,
I was going to
to
say, this is where Jack needs to calm down.
He hasn't.
It's the mid part of the race here. You've got to. It's up to a late attempt by Maverick Vinales, and I think it's a story for Maverick. He can't quite carry the corner speed on the. He's got clear track in front of him for the first time in a long time. I'll keep an eye on his lap times because he's only 2 seconds off third place. You'll see him in the back of shot.
Turn up. There are the tyre combinations that everybody's gone for. And, the overlap that you get from Michelin, don't be, if you're a Mark
Rubber on the front, like Valentino has, and has gone for, to be able to pass. I'm baffled by that.
The more it moves around as well, the more it takes your confidence away.
Absolutely.
And that's 0.3 seconds now, the lead from Marquez back to Rossi here in second place. Rossi doing a great job. He's found his rhythm now. He's settled into it, hasn't he? And you just get the feeling that... but they reckon that the amount of stick that this tyre gets is equal now. And with the durability of the Michelin team's
place, his lap times are the same as the battle for second, basically. But it's just taken him too long, obviously, to get going. And not to judge him too early.
Oh, hang on a minute. That's the power of the Ducati.
Wow.
It's time that
that wasn't even close.
No, that was
come on.
That was the
Look
grip.
at it.
That was the grip. It's for cooling of the tyre.
I'm only
just give me a
winding you up.
smack in.
I'm only winding you up.
Well, it is a bit of a wind up in the paddock here, isn't it? The whole subject is a bit of a wind up.
The 39s. There's only one other man in the 39s. Yes, that's Marc Marquez. Exactly like we thought. So frustrating.
There's a lot of Brits that are
together, Keith. If they all say, listen, we we think, well, I guess then maybe if someone does a really bad jump start, so the guy from the back row ends up leading into turn 1, and it's just not forgiving, is it, at all?
That's assuming that Lorenzo didn't shove him off then.
He was already, he got past him by then.
I would try to.
Yeah, on board with Lorenzo, he was already past.
Yeah, and we're just going
to
see
at the usual point, just tipping in.
Yeah, exactly.
There's been a lot do that this weekend.
Lotso versus Rossi.
Oh, sorry, Keith. Yeah,
running
I
in.
thought he was going to hit the back of him then. That was tight.
We were talking about this in Moto 2.
Time slower, so he's now holding up Morbidelli. Oh, this is Vinales getting it all wrong.
Yeah. Oh dear. Very well indeed. Second place for this man will go down particularly well, but if Dovizioso manages to pinch second place, that will mean he and Marc Marquez will be on equal points when we leave his way, but letting Rins through, so that gives Alex Rins a nice clear run on the inside line there. Rins takes 2 of them.
Yeah, Rins definitely for the podium.
He's on it, isn't he now? Ferraro could catch them, we'll wait and see, but all eyes are on the Suzuki of Rins. I'll tell you what, these 2 in the front, they're going to be getting the board regarding what's happening behind them, body weight. He couldn't lose any more weight unless he cut something off, because he looks as thin as any man of his size. Decent. It's going to be a question of whether he's got tyres left at the end of this race, isn't it, really?
That's true. Crutchlow is up to 18th place, just past that,
so maybe he won't find the drive to get past the Ducati in the later stages. That's what it's going to be about. It's going to have to be a bit of a block pass, I feel, on type of turn where the Suzuki turns and brakes well.
It's now or never for Rins, really. He has to do Petrucci,
because otherwise he won't be a mistake. Like, you can feel it, can't you, when you watch these guys? And by now these tyres are going to begin. Oh, Mia's down pit lane on the other Suzuki. Hope that
you can control that. You've got the throttle in your hand. You can, but you're totally under control. When the front's going, it's a nightmare. Rossi's so going to do Dovizioso on the last lap. Miller got him on the straight.
Yeah,
it was one of them typical Miller on the straight. Ducati power on the start and finish straight. That went a little bit wide. Actually, not that wide, but the Suzuki, according to Miller.
So the full factory Ducati is where Miller is aiming to go, and Petrucci is just getting a bit of a 12.3. Incredible. You don't see this in MotoGP nowadays. Marquez's dominance here as he looks for his 3rd MotoGP win at this race.
You would be, wouldn't you? Yes, you would be.
This is going to be down to Valentino Rossi. Marc Marquez could end up leading this race, leading this championship here in Argentina.
Massive.
He's still the biggest out of all of them.
Last lap, he's so popular, Keith. He has to have that special walkway, doesn't he?
16 for 3rd, 13 for 4th, 11 for 5th, and then it goes 10, 9, 8, all the way down to 1 for 15th place. Marquez leads by 12 points. That's it. Oh! Out!
Thank you, Morbidelli.
Morbidelli has gone with Maverick Vinales. Already Marquez is on his way to the win. Or is it earlier? He's up the inside. The doctor goes in. Has he gone too wide? Will Dobby get him back? Well, Dobby's done it before. Has done it by a massive, massive margin with a soft rear tyre. And take a significant second. It is Dovizioso.